Learn about the indie artist from the indie artist.
Well, I'm Janaki. I'm an artist.
Well, my name is Lauren, as you already said. I am a singer-songwriter.
So I'm Mark Pems. I originally come from the Caribbean, St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
My name is Brian Doucette. I'm an East Coast Canadian rocker.
And then I found myself in Las Vegas, where I'm at currently, for dancing for Cirque du Soleil with my own solo.
But also learn from music industry professionals.
I'm a music producer. I've been producing professionally for about 14 years. I have worked with a couple people in the industry, Grammy nominated Trev Rich, Nisha from 702.
After I got my deal with Universal Music, after the Alicia Keys and Gunna record and many other that I've done, and then Alicia Keys was the #1 adult R&B song of the year.
I asked the questions.
That's a great question.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Ooh, that is a good question.
Wow. I love all these questions. These are great. Like most of the questions that I get are like, tell me about Justin Bieber. It's like...
Indie Artist Music Hustle is for the indie artists, their fans, industry professionals, and the music lover. Subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, or the podcast on Apple, Spotify, Pandora, or Blonde Intelligence Facebook page. Don't forget to add me to your playlist. Bye.
It's been really fun, especially talking to someone across the pond. That's cool.
Welcome to this week's Blonde Intelligence, formerly called Indie Artist Music Hustle with Blonde Intelligence. I'm your host, Miss Roni, and I always seek to give you exquisite cranial repertoire. And that means that sometimes I want to make your ass think. And I have been seeing different comments of people who have, I would say, different views on people who receive, I would say, SNAP benefits, because I'm not even sure if you want to say welfare recipients, because I had this talk with somebody one time, and the disagreement was about what was considered welfare. I said, if that's the case, we all receive welfare in some form or fashion, such as if you get a small business loan, even if you have to pay it back, or if you receive some type of grant, if you receive some type of tax break, if you use FHA or what is it? Rural development to buy a home at a discounted down payment or no down payment, or if you use your veterans benefits. So if you receive any type of benefit from either your federal, state, or local government, that is still considered welfare. Welfare is something that everybody needs. This is, when you talk about, is it for the best, the welfare of the child? Okay, what is in the best interest? So if you're in need of, I would say, because the big thing is about food stamps right now, need food stamps, then what is the problem with a person getting it? Now, I understand that there is fraud, because I used to be a case manager at a Department of Human Services, and I'm not going to say where or what state. And I had a supervisor that when you're, I guess, doing the interview for the Medicaid and the food stamps, she was, if they're lying, and da da da, and I was like, well, don't y'all have people whose job is for 8 hours to find fraud? And I just thought that was like really crazy, because at one time I was the recipient of food stamps. And now I do not understand how people have 7, 8, 9 kids and getting $3,000 and $4,000 worth of food stamps. And some people do have to understand there are certain situations in which that can happen, such as if the parent has a disability and is receiving SSI and will never be able to work and has that many children. Yes, families like that will receive that amount of food stamps and to feed their children. Now, when I applied and the amount that they told me that I could get, I'm like, so that deterred me from having more children because I didn't want to have more children that I could take care of. So my goal was to always not want their assistance, but if it was needed, that it was there. So I listened to, um, I would think it was snippets of it. I didn't watch the whole thing. Snippets of uh, the man Stevie Knight, and I cannot remember the man that um, he interviewed with, but they had like a debate, and he had some derogatory things to Stevie Knight did about, people who receive benefits, and I know that people will go and make TikTok videos doing grocery hauls and all that kind of stuff, but people also have to realize people will glamorize things for social media, and they may say that they getting this and it's all free and all that, but I must tell you here in Arkansas where I'm at currently, they've been had a mandate that you could receive um, emergency food stamps, but then after that, you had to go to work. You had to do some type of work program. You had to do something to receive those benefits. So it's been like that here, but the benefits has been there for those who really need it. Now, I do understand some people live in Section 8 apartments and they got a boyfriend who make good money or whatever, and he may come over and stay. Some of them, if they live in Section 8 where they pick their own housing, can live there. So I do understand that it's some people who get over, but you have to realize the majority of those people are not ones that get over. And most people, I was watching, I think, CNN, and they were talking about the face of welfare and said that over the years, the face of welfare has turned more brown when that's not the actuality of it. And I just feel like that people are lacking an empathy gene when it comes to some of these social policies because um I don't know who it was, but it was a writer that worked with Chris Brown, and he was saying that Chris Brown owed him $25,000 allegedly. And he was crying because he was like, I have an EBT card. I have an EBT card. I would not worry about an EBT card because this is something. One time, my daddy and my brother was having an argument. Not per se an argument, but you know how you sit around and be talking and whatever, and you know, you have your different, like how you kick in the back with a friend. And my brother gonna tell my daddy, my couch costs more than your couch. And my daddy looked at him and he was like, so what? We both sitting. And I was like, yeah, sometimes you have to look at it like that. Okay. So what? I got to pay and work right now. And I'm helping somebody else because here you cannot get food stamps for the rest of your life. You have, I want to say it's 24 months. You got lifetime, 24 months. You got 24 months to get yourself in order, to find a job, to find some housing, some this, some that. So I know that different states have different policies, but when people talking to say it's the red states that's no, I feel like you really can't go by that either because you have to go by how many people vote. how many people in that population are not allowed to vote? And there's other things that go with that, and that's a whole nother topic. But I want to talk about people having the lack of the empathy gene through this crisis, because not having food is a major thing, and people talking about Walmart, Target, such and such. This is what we're gonna do. Okay, the government may be shut down, but the local government is not. And they still have local police and the sheriff. So, and you go on and you telling people, because I'm going to bring cousin Woo Woo with me, and he going to pop whoever in the face. Well, Woo Woo might get tased. These people are going to try to protect their assets too, because you have to realize that everybody is being affected, and that's the reason why I don't understand why people don't have more empathy for each other, for one another. I hear so many times that people, well, it don't affect me, I don't benefit from it, I've been paying this for such and such and such and such. Well, I don't even know what to say that you can't put yourself in another person's place. Now, yes, I do believe in karma, and sometimes when they got the what is it, FA, some FAFO. I normally say the words, but I try to be good sometimes. But I don't know what people was expecting, and when people say the uneducated. And I love the uneducated, or you was a uneducated voter. That does not have anything to do with if you have a degree, or if you have a high school diploma, or if you dropped out. It is your ability to comprehend. These are the words that's being said to you. Now, I look into the future based on these words, and what does it mean for my life? How would it affect me personally? Not what I think it's going to do. What is it going to do to me? And that's how I make my vote. Not, oh, well, this person said this and this person's going to do this. An informed vote is the issues that this person is saying, no matter where on the totem pole it's at. How is it going to affect you personally? Let's look at this and see how this is going to affect me personally. And that is the uninformed vote, and that is the uneducated. And people are sheep. That's the reason why you have a lot of sheep and one shepherd. And people is going to follow, the sheep is going to follow the shepherd. And I just feel like that people are lacking the empathy gene, even when it comes to the government shutdown. They're not worried about people who have been furloughed without money. I think it was a air traffic control pilot was needing to leave a meeting to go and drive DoorDash because his daughter was in college, and people have mortgages. And I saw one business owner say that she had took out a mortgage on a house and not going to be able to pay. I mean, took out a loan against a mortgage on the house and not going to be able to pay the upcoming note. I just don't know. I mean, I don't know, but I feel like that some places have. I saw one man, he spazzed all the way out about his daughter's preschool having a food pantry in the front for parents who cannot afford food. Food is a basic necessity. From the four freedoms worldwide, we're supposed to be striving for freedom of speech and expression. And I think that's what Drake didn't realize, that we do have freedom of speech. And part of freedom of speech is freedom of expression. And that's not only in dialogue, it's in photography, it's in illustration, it's in any form of art, because that speaks to you. We have freedom of worship. That means that you can choose to be Pentecostal today, you can be Christian tomorrow, you can be atheist the next day. Whatever you want to do. Freedom from what? The economic understanding that will secure to every nation a healthy, peacetime life for its inhabitants everywhere in the world. Now, I don't know how that's working out, but we're not supposed to be struggling like that. We're supposed to all work together to make the world economic stage stable. And that's working together. And we're supposed to have freedom from fear, no aggression against thy neighbor. So I'm just wondering, what is the empathy gene? Empathy is a fundamental human quality that allows individuals to understand and share the feelings of others. However, some individuals exhibit signs of lacking this crucial trait, often referred to as lacking the empathy gene. Identifying these signs is essential, as individuals who lack empathy can pose significant risks to society and interpersonal relationships. One prominent sign of a lack of empathy is a consistent inability to recognize or respond to the emotional state of others. For example, individuals may fail to comfort someone in distress or may dismiss the feelings of those around them. This emotional detachment often manifests in conversations where the person monopolizes the discussion, showing little interest in the other's experience or feelings. Such behavior can create a toxic environment, leading to strained relationships and social isolation. I see this through the responses that people are having to these people crying on food stamps. Now, I will admit that some of the reasoning that people have for not wanting to, as they quote unquote say, go to work. But I saw one man say that he went from $2,800 a month to $350 a month, and he wanted to spend time with his 5 kids. And he don't want to work a job where he has spent all his time away from his kids. Okay, well, get a part-time job, because at some point, 5 kids, somebody is in school. Even if you go be a substitute teacher, then you can spend time with your children during the day while they're learning. Another sign is a tendency toward manipulative or exploitative behavior. Individuals lacking empathy may use others for personal gain without regard to their feelings or welfare. Notice that word welfare. This behavior can be particularly dangerous in positions of power, where a lack of empathy can lead to decisions that harm others, whether in corporate settings, politics, or personal relationships. For instance, a manager who prioritizes profit over employee well-being may foster a toxic workplace culture, resulting in high turnover rates and lack of morale among staff. You see that in fast food restaurants. Remember the girl that went to work at McDonald's and she felt like her her manager was, I would say, bullying her? And she went on social media to say several things about it. And it was people saying, I understand where she coming from. And I'm like, well, if you understand where she coming from, why you didn't go and do what she did? Because this lady went in here and just went to work with a knife on this lady and left her kids motherless. So people empathize with, I can see why she did it, the negative side of it, and not look. And I understand that it was reported that she may have had like some mental issues or whatever, but those things like that, you have to, I would say, make the workplace not necessarily a pleasant environment, but where you're not causing mental stress to someone. Additionally, a lack of empathy can manifest in disregard for social norms and ethical standards. Individuals may engage in harmful behaviors, such as bullying or harassment, without recognizing the pain they inflict on others. This disregard for the feelings of others not only harms individuals, but can also lead to a broader societal issues, including violence and discrimination. The consequences of such behavior can be far-reaching, affecting community cohesion and safety. And see how people are having mixed emotions about people's food stamps being cut off. And I really feel for those people. I do. Because I have been in a situation before when I have needed. And sometimes when you need services, you don't qualify for them. They look at, you may not have money per se, but you may have assets. You may own some land. You may have more than one car. You may go in with a piece of jewelry on your hand. You may have a decent job. But on your bills, they'll be like, well, you chose to have more than one car. Or you chose to do such and such and such and such. And you have a life insurance policy that you could cash in. So it's like you have to lose everything in order to qualify for some of these benefits. So imagine the people that's qualifying for these benefits. To qualify, you don't have anything at all. Or you have a boatload of children. And the man who spazzed out and he was like, and who would want to have sex during this time when you're worried about bills? Anybody, he didn't say it like this, but the gist of it, anybody feel aroused right now and want to have more children that you can't take care of? And he spazzed all the way out, but he was telling the truth. Things like this, when you're worried about money, money can break up marriages and split up relationships and all kinds of things. And I did a show a few weeks ago about the different professions that's going to make it through this hard economic times. And I talked about plumbers and electricians and carpenters and things that are going to be needed. Whether you have the money or not, you're going to scrape it up to get it. And I was watching several different shows and people. Now, I went to college and I got several degrees, but if you can go to trade school, go to trade school. Do it while you can. You don't necessarily have to go to college. And I've said that being educated does not mean having a college degree. You can have a certificate in something. So in conclusion, recognizing the signs of individuals who lack empathy is vital for understanding their potential dangers. Their inability to connect emotionally with others, combined with the manipulative tendencies that disregard for ethical norms, can lead to harmful behaviors that impact both personal relationships and societal well-being. Well-being, welfare. It is the same thing. Addressing these issues through education and awareness is crucial in fostering a more empathetic society. And right now, society is missing that empathetic gene. Anyway, that's all that I have for you today. Remember, you can catch Indie Artist Music Hustle on all your favorite podcasts and platforms. Please go to Spotify and subscribe to, I think it's still under Indie Artist Music Hustle on Spotify. So please go and subscribe. And also go on YouTube and subscribe. And you can find me on social media sometimes. And you can get your merch and get customized merch on my website at www.blonde-intelligence.com. And please feel free to leave a comment. And I'll see you next week. Bye.
Hey girl, let me tell you about this podcast. Girl, everybody has a podcast these days. But this one interviews new and interesting indie artists. It's called Indie Artist Music Hustle with Blonde Intelligence. Really? Where can I find it? It's on all podcasting platforms, streams live on social media, and on rpentradio.com. What'd you say it was called again? It's called Indie Artist Music Hustle with Blonde Intelligence. Girl, I'm gonna have to check her out. Give it a check, girl.